All right, so we give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. We're going to pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe but receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accuses you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Shalom, Jay. So I adjusted the title just because 2 Corinthians 12 is kind of going to anchor what we got going on, but we'll still keep the elements of what we already started. Peace, Brother Joseph, man. Leviticus chapter 4, man, verse 13. And if the whole congregation of Yasharal sinned through ignorance, and the thing be hid from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done somewhat against any of the commandments of Yahuwah concerning things which should not be done, are guilty. When the sin which they have sinned against it is known, then the congregation shall offer a young bullock for sin and bring him before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands upon the head of the bullock before Yahuwah, and the bullock shall be killed. Shalom, Brother Robert. Before Yahuwah. The priest that is anointed shall bring the bullock's blood to the tabernacle of the congregation, and the priest shall dip his finger in some of the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before Yahuwah, even before the veil. He shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar, which is before Yahuwah that is in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour out all the blood at the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. He shall take all his fat from him, burn it upon the altar. He shall do with the bullock as he did with the bullock for the sin offering. So shall he do with this. The priest shall make atonement for them. It shall be forgiven them. He shall carry forth the bullock without the camp and burn him as he burned the first bullock. It is the sin offering for the congregation. When a ruler have sinned and done somewhat through ignorance against any of the commandments of Yahuwah as Elohim concerning things which ought not to be done, is guilty. Or if his sin wherein he have sinned come to his knowledge, he shall bring his offering a kid of the goats, a male without blemish, and of course the same process with that. Verse 27, Leviticus chapter 4. And if any one of the common people sin through ignorance while he do somewhat against any of the commandments of Yahuwah concerning things which ought not to be done, and be guilty, or if his sin which he have sinned come to his knowledge, he shall bring his offering a kid of the goats, a female without blemish, for a sin which he sinned. Now, we don't have to go through all the procedural stuff because it's the same. Hold on 1 second. I just want to get back the definition of common people again. It's escaping my brain. Ah, that's right. Arats, a land, earthly, an inhabitant. An inhabitant of the land. Shalom, Brother Marvin. 2 Corinthians 12, verse 7. You can make it verse 1. What's she screaming about?
It's, one of them outside tree roaches out there. She want me to kill it.
I mean, that ain't funny because you done responded about stuff like that. So don't laugh at her. But when it was you, you ain't want nobody to laugh at you.
Okay. Let's just find out.
It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to esteem. This is 2 Corinthians 12:1. I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord. I knew a man in a Mashak above 14 years ago, whether in the body I cannot tell, whether out of the body I cannot tell. Elohim know. Such a one caught up to the third Shamayim. And I knew such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I cannot tell. Elohim know. how that he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which is not lawful for a man to utter. Of such a one will I esteem, yet of myself I will not esteem, but in my infirmities. For though I would desire to esteem, I shall not be a fool. For I will say the truth, but now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he see me to be, or that he hear of me. Lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations, there was given to me a thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Hashatan, to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice, that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather esteem in my infirmities, that the power of Mashiach may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities and in reproaches and in necessities and persecutions and distresses for Hamashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Now, it dealt with a multitude of things on Wednesday. All of them I didn't complete to my liking. Shalom, Mama Stafford. I was just going to send you that message. I had to get started. Joanne was in here having a connection. But the thing that we want to root to is how his loving kindness is enough. And that loving kindness obviously is going to stretch to the sins done out of ignorance by the people, by the inhabitants of the land. The inhabitants of the land obviously is separate from the children of Yasharal, but you know, people not going to pay attention to that. But that's another conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I told you that extends to the conversation that he was having with the gentleman about Isaiah 60. He tried to retool that conversation again, but asking irrelevant questions is something that I won't entertain. From his standpoint, you know, he was perceiving Isaiah 60 to be referring to a Mashiach, which I could understand, obviously coming from the basis of where we come from. I could understand why he would even have that assessment. And for me, it can be representative of both of them. Nevertheless, when you take in the context of what's in Isaiah 60, when you take that back into the context of what's in what you call it, whether it's in Revelation, whether it's in Jeremiah, whether it's in Psalms, whether it's in Deuteronomy, and a multitude of other places, he's made a promise that you're going to be the people who are going to be ruling. Now, this is not for the aspect of focus on the children of Israel ruling, because of things that we referenced in Jeremiah 32 Wednesday about, you know, his covenant with day and night. But you know what I'm saying? But it's the aspect of being the children of faith. And when you take that, all those things, and you put them together and you sort them out, because the people have sinned against this man through ignorance and not hearkening to the prophet like unto Moses, therefore the blood being required of them, and him having the ability, the long suffering, the mercy and compassion to say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Like right before I came on here, I was talking to one of our good compatriots about the aspect of when would the people know? Okay, good day. When the people will start to look at you who is being full of crap, when the promises are not fulfilled. But the key component of what people always make as a form of an excuse is you not doing what you're supposed to do, and you want the superior to alter things to fit your inability, lack of desire, or total disregard to meet a standard. See, I don't come from that frame of thinking. I wasn't raised with that frame of thinking. So just instantly, my inward parts find it just absolutely repugnant. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you choose to do, it's what you choose to do. Now, whether there might be some things that have occurred to you that could be the impetus to cause you to make a series of bad decisions consecutively, I can take that into consideration. Nevertheless, when you wholeheartedly enter into an agreement and state plainly and clearly and succinctly that you're going to do something, and then you don't do it, but yet you think that someone is supposed to adhere, bend. But this is because people see God. I'm gonna put it this way. Now, I've always told you this here. People see God like they see man, because People have a hard time understanding that Yahuwah Elohim is not a sucker. He's not a simp. He's not a buster. He's not any of these things. So because you have so many human beings who are willing to compromise, remember, compromise by definition is to take less than what you want. Then people assume God should do the same. Now, in the midst of the conversation, we didn't get to it because he said it's an impossible standard. And I asked him, what about, but the conversation was taking twists and turns, so he wasn't being deflective intentionally. What about the standard is impossible? The standard is not impossible. It's that man has convinced himself through the eyes, words, and manipulation of other men to believe that the standard is impossible. So because you believe that the standard is impossible, when you're in a moment of weakness, when you're in a moment of discontent, unbelief, distress, tribulation, suffering, whatever you want to call it, his love is not enough for you. You're going to need more. Now, the reason why I wanted to switch this here, why he said, my love is sufficient for you, and that his strength is made perfect in weakness, is for us to go through that and manifest what that looked like through the entirety of the word. Now, of course, the number one example, which is easy to pull out and see, is a Mashiach, when he was weak and his strength was made perfect in weakness. And in that instance, you actually seen through the text that his love was enough. Because his love was enough for this man to continue to go hang from a tree so that he could say, Abba, forgive them, they know not what they do, for the sin that they were committing in ignorance. As I mentioned to y'all Wednesday, man, and you hear people say it all the time because they conflate different things when they tell you love is not enough. Anybody that tell you that love is not enough has never experienced it. Because anyone who's actually been loved before, and I'm not talking about no emotional love either, man. I'm not talking about no romantic love. I ain't talking about no TV love. I ain't talking about no goddamn R&B. I ain't talking about none of that goofy junk. We too old, entirely too old, to be expecting life through the prisms of music, movies, television, and novels. It's ridiculous. It's just, and this is why the children messed up. Because you're not preparing them for the world that's out there. You're preparing them for a fantasy world. I don't live in a fantasy world. I ain't never lived in a fantasy world. I don't want to live in a fantasy world. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my son to have some daydream, idealistic view of a world that doesn't exist. And then when he go outside and find out that what I told him ain't really out there, now he's confused. And you wonder why people get drunk. And you wonder why they drug addicts. And you wonder why they blow their brains out. And you wonder why they participate in deleterious and destructive behavior. Because you didn't give them the reality of the world that's outside. Because you didn't want to snatch their innocence. Man, you better tell them the real, my nigga. What you lying to them for? You don't realize that lying to them and making them ill-equipped and unprepared, you're doing more to destroy their innocence than anything than telling them the truth. Indeed, truth should be enough. But I'm just saying the reality of the world that we live in. Because we get socialized to an extent to not really be blunt and honest with children. And that's only because most people don't know how to communicate. And what I mean by that is that communicating to a child, to communicate the information in a palatable way where they can understand it and understand the gravity of what you're saying. Because mainly we believe that I can tell them later and they'll grasp it. But you know what I'm saying? You have to build up the stuff. You can't wait till later. Because if you wait till later, when they have influences, you know what I'm saying, outside of what it is that you want to tell them, they're going to already have framed a worldview. So by the time when you coming in with it with the real, it may not rest in their mind because they might have already bought into the fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I seen this lady, she was like, why do you not men read for novels, and why you only want to read for knowledge? And then I don't want to read to be entertained. Now I told you I have my reasons for that. I cannot explain to you why in the first grade I decided I don't want to read novels no more. If it's not going to be something, well, not novels, but just if I want to read to learn. And if I can't learn from it, what the hell am I reading it for? You know what I'm saying? I'm cool on that. But as I've gotten older, considering that I know that some of my ancestors was hung from a tree for wanting to know how to read, beaten unmercifully, suffering all type of persecution and disrespect for simply having the desire to read a book, I don't want to be entertained. I don't want to be entertained. I don't want, if it's anybody in my bloodline that ever died for reading a book, that I'm going to waste it on being entertained. And it's doubly worse if you don't want to read at all. You know what I'm saying? Because you probably got people in your bloodline who got murdered for wanting to read, and you won't even take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to really sit back and think about that, man. Man, you got people in your bloodline that died, my nigga, for wanting to know how to read. That's how bad them crackers didn't want you to expand your intellect. You understand how serious that is, man? Shalom, Sister Gina. That these people were willing to kill you so you wouldn't be able to expand your intellect, and you don't even want to do it? That's a goddamn shame. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, Brother Margaret, man. Let me see if there's a war going on outside. Yeah, man. You ain't lied. That's just my personal perspective. That's just how I see it. You don't have to see it that way. But like I said, man, people died for wanting to know how to read, man. This book say seek the book of Yahuwah out and read, man. You know what I'm talking about? Say, blessed is he that readeth. That's what it say. The man told you search that book, man. That's what he told us. But you know, more so than anything, man, it's people who look like me and you, man. They died for wanting to read a book, much less the Bible. They could have wanted just to read a book for entertainment. They died for that. You know what I'm saying? You can't forget stuff like that. You know what I mean? You got to make sure your children understand that, man. You the offspring of people. Ain't no other people was murdered for wanting to know how to read. People killed you for wanting to know how to read, my nigga. Like, man, sometimes, man, you know that, but do you really sit back and ponder the gravity of such a thing, man? These people feared you so much, man, they murdered you so you couldn't read, bro. They ain't want you to read, my nigga. I don't want to read no Harry Potter book, bro. I want to be able to read something that I could be able to expand my intellect to get information to get to my son, so he can get it to his son. Just like the book tell you. I got to have something to get to my son, man. You know what I'm saying? Straight like that. I don't want to give my son what these crackers want me to give him, man. I don't want to give him sports and entertainment. I don't want to give him that. Because that's of no consequence. That's not no threat to them. They're not scared of athletes. They're not scared of entertainers. Whether that be actors, musicians, singers, they're not scared of them. They're scared of men of intellect, because men with intellect can inspire generations after them and inspire populaces. That's what they're scared of. Just on a natural level, that's what they're scared of. They don't want you to have intellect. They want you to be a minstrel show. Because you no threat. We don't care about you. They don't want nobody to spark the brain. Listen, man, when you got that word, man, he tell you to preach this gospel to every creature under heaven, man. And that word touch a man's heart, boy, you can spark the spirit of God in that man. That's dangerous to the people, man. Case in point, just on the level what I'm talking about, man. Man, that Matt Turner went to reading that book, understood a couple things, sparked something in him, boy. The boy went to woe about that. And went to murking them people. I'm not saying necessarily that was the Ruach of God that had him do that. I'm just saying this man was able to read something and he sparked something in the hearts of other men because he could read. And therefore he gave a certain level of information. It moved a large swath of people to say, I want freedom. And I'm willing to die for it. You understand? So that's something you have to look at. You got to pay attention to that, man. You know, we could get caught up in this particular society trying to get caught up with the trappings of what these crackers got and what they got going on. Again, keep stuff in perspective, man. It's bigger than that. Nevertheless, come over here to Proverbs 24. I think it's 16 I desire. That just came to my mind just now. I just felt like saying that. But I said, besides this, we're talking to my dog, man, about, you know, that promise is not coming through and You know what I'm saying? It's a complete total lack of accountability. I said 16. That ain't what I want. It's 10. My bad. I'm gonna pick at verse 1 just because I feel like it. Just a lack of accountability. Because he was saying that the information wasn't plain. I'm like, you had the covenant read to them. You can see that in Exodus 24. In the book of Deuteronomy, which is the retelling of the law, it was told to them again. They had priests in every city and synagogues until the temple was built, where the word was being brought forth. You had prophets. Them people had the word and they knew, and they choose to do the opposite. And then you shock when you don't get the thing that you desire, and then you have to take accountability for the destruction that you brought upon yourself. You know what I'm saying? Now, one of the biggest aspects of dealing with the word, man, is just being honest with yourself. Everybody ain't dealing with the same things, and everybody don't come from the same situation and circumstance. You understand? So perspectives be a little bit different. You did. So we want to keep that into account. But we looking at this man say, "My grace." I don't care about the Greek word. My chesed, my loving kindness is enough for you. Now we can read in John where he say Elohim is love. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at when he say my loving kindness is enough, and we're really looking at his loving kindness as it's the emblematic of him being that sacrifice for ignorance, of course, rooted in these people killing him because they didn't know the word, but also the things that he suffered to show that's enough, and coupled with the fact that in our ignorance, his love was still enough. Even in the weakness of being in the infirmities of the flesh and of sin, his love was enough. And a lot of times, for a lot of people, his love ain't enough. Now, I didn't get to mention that in the conversation we was having because it was brief, because it was getting time to open up the trap house. You know what I'm saying? But the reality of the situation is a lot of people don't want his love. See, a lot of people have an idea of what they think God should be, but it's from the framework of their human thought process, totally separated from the fact of who he said he is and what he is about. Just because that's the same way, case in point, that's the same way people can get in a romantic relationship with an individual and feel like they should be like this, even though this person has laid out plainly exactly who they are. But you think, no, you should be like this. The only reason why you want this person to be like this is so it satisfies your desires, your wants, not your needs, your wants. Because you're only looking at it from a selfish point of view. Because the only thing you're concerned with is for all your desires to be fulfilled. No matter if it's contradictory, no matter if it's destructive, no matter if it's hypocritical, doesn't matter. You should be like this because this makes it better for me. See, we don't be looking at it that way. That's what people say, why God don't do, no, my nigga. No, that's not how that works. You want him to be like that because that's what best serves you. Because you actually don't care about serving him. You don't care about that. You don't care that you entered into an agreement and this is what required of you. You don't do it, but you still want him to do what's required of him. Because what required of him is most beneficial to you. So you don't care how it affects him because it doesn't matter to you. Because that doesn't get me what I want. That is inherently selfish and narcissistic, to say the least. You know what I'm saying? So this is where things come in at, where people be like, nah, his love's not enough. But again, I'm just going to read in 1 Corinthians 13, because I'm over here before I read Proverbs 24:1. What is emblematic of godly love? Y'all all know it, but we're going to read it again. 13 and 4, I should say. 1 Corinthians 13 and 4, I should say. Love suffer long and is kind. Love envy not. Love vaunt not itself. It is not puffed up. Do not behave itself unseemly. Seeks not her own. Is not easily provoked and thinks no evil. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in the truth. Bear all things, believe all things, hope all things, endure all things. Love never fails. But whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. Now, see, let's pause for a moment with that last statement, right? Because like I got a sister I know, she always talking about, where the prophets at. Now, I'm not saying that to discourage. I'm just mentioning this because it's in this passage. He letting you know whether there be prophecies that anybody can speak, it's going to fail. And whether there be tongues that anybody can speak, they going to stop. That's what the people that say, if you don't speak in tongues, you don't got the spirit. And he says, whether there be any knowledge, it'll go away, but the love of God never stops. And that is emblematic of the fact that his love is enough. But you don't want his love. You want the prophecies. You want the tongues. You want the knowledge. You want everything else. But the very thing that he says don't fail. That's why I've always told you, people want the gimmicks. They don't really want the root, which is the love. They don't want it. Because in order to get that love, that what that man talking about, man, you got to be selfless, and you have to be sacrificial, and you have to be of service, and you have to not behave yourself improperly. And you have to have long suffering, which means you have to have compassion and mercy and understanding and care. And people don't have that. They don't have that. So because they don't have it, they don't want that from him. They don't want that from him. And you know why they don't want that love from him? Because the very elements of love, what I just mentioned, which he says is enough, you can't flex that on another person. You can't really use that to bring attention to yourself. You can't get vainglory from it. You can't get money from it. Because if it's actually the love of Elohim is pure. And when it's pure, it can't be exploited for personal gain. Because most people are just intrinsically selfish. They don't care about nobody. They don't care about nobody. And you can see that by how people handle the word on people, man. They don't care about nobody. See, sometimes people will think if you being stern, that means you don't care. Being stern is just being resolute on what it is that you own and what you do. But most people don't care about nobody. Like I said, I mentioned y'all Wednesday, right? When I was talking to the young cat, man, he going through the text and I'm telling him, bro, you steady worried about a cut. And I'm trying to give you some game, but you can't pick up the game because you don't care. Do you know how many people, when I say don't care, you don't care because you're not accustomed to somebody dealing with the word who care about you and a godly outcome for you. You don't care about that because you're unaccustomed to that. Because most people who in this game don't care about you having a positive outcome. They don't care. They selfishly care about what does this interaction do to get me what it is that I want out of it. But always remember, this man told you, he did his greatest among you, let him be a servant. And I didn't come to be served, but to serve and to make my life a ransom for many. This is a literal expression of his love is enough. Because he told you that love seeks not our own. He told you I didn't come to be served, but to serve. His love is enough. But they couldn't understand that. In that moment, they couldn't understand that. When he said, I came to make my life a ransom for many. Because I'm long suffering. And in that love, it's not going to puff me up. It's going to be used to build you up. So therefore, my love is enough for you. Because the love that I have for you is going to give you something you couldn't get on your own. And that's life. And that's enough. But see, just like the book tell you, he that desires silver is never satisfied. And he that is consumed with lust is never satisfied. And that's what people's problem is. You're not satisfied with the things of God. I want more money. I want more cars. I want more houses. I want this. I want that. Nigga, that y'all gonna pass away, blood. I'm telling you, man, I've always told y'all this, right? Most people were not genuinely loved and cared for from their birth. So you go through life being unloved. So when you go through life being unloved, love will never be enough for you. Because you're going to reject it, you're going to refuse it, you're going to run from it. It's foreign to you. So when somebody come and actually bring it to you, you're going to turn it down. And you know why you're going to turn it down? For the very reasons what we just mentioned. Because it doesn't fulfill a selfish motivation and desire. Come over here to 1 John 4:7. No, let me run that before I read Proverbs 24. Just weigh and consider. And we still got the intercessor stuff to deal with also. I ain't forgot about that. Y'all willing, we'll merge them all in. Everything get touched on, man. You know what I mean? We got ample time this evening. Along with y'all willing on tomorrow. What's the page at? Where we at? Boom, boom, boom. There it is. 1 John 4:7. You did. And it says, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of Elohim. Everyone that love is born of Elohim and know Elohim. So anybody who had a love of God is born of the word and you've experienced God. There is absolutely no way you can say you have experienced God and you ain't got no love in you. Now, just like I was telling y'all when I was talking with them ladies the other day, and they was like, you know, how do you keep your spouse happy? You can't do nothing but love them. And that's hard. Again, that was hard for them to grasp because love is not enough. What you mean? All you got to do is love them. Well, what more can I do? I say anything more than that, and you become a dancing monkey. You have to become performative, and that's not love. But again, we can't see it that way because we're viewing love from an emotional point of view. The living Elohim, Yahuwah of hosts is his name, does not view love from an emotional point of view, which is why individuals have a hard time grasping the love of God when they come in the word. That's what they have a hard time doing. And that's why all the brews always mention you keep his commandments. That's so you know him. But if you knew him, then you would know Jeremiah 9:23. Let him esteem that understand and know me, that I am Yahuwah, who exercise, loving kindness, righteousness, and judgment. These are the things that I take pleasure in. So if you knew him, you would exercise loving kindness. So knowing that, this is where you see, beloved, let us love one another, for love is of Elohim. Everyone that love is born of Elohim and know Elohim. He that love not, know not Elohim, for Elohim is love. Anybody who can't facilitate what we heard in 1 Corinthians 13, they not of God. They don't know him. Because we just think love is, I don't eat pork, I keep the Sabbath. But they don't look at it as it's merciful, it's graciousness, it's long-suffering, it's gentleness, it's goodness, it's meekness. It's forgiveness. Now, when you can take these things and you can actually represent them, you show forth that his strength is made perfect in weakness. Why? Because your mind is stayed on him because you trust in him. For trusting Yahuwah's everlasting strength, which we know is the rock. Well, if Yahuwah is the rock, like we know in Deuteronomy, and the Lord told you, I liken him who hear my words and do them, is he that built his house on a rock. When you pay attention to his words was telling you to love your Elohim and love your neighbor, and actual practicality and tangible execution. Not just with words, not with just, I keep the commandments, brother. Nah, my nigga. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, man. And man say, hey, man, carry your brother's burden. Hey, man, if that man be overtaken in the fault, restore him with meekness, man. It's a way to do things if you love them. But a lot of people, man, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, man, like the people you sit with and fellowship with. And when I say this, I ain't just referring to the individuals who hear, because it might be people who watch this that fellowshipping with other people. Do you genuinely love them people you look at every week? I'm talking about genuinely love them, man, from the heart, from the soul, my nigga. I ain't talking about you got to love them because the word say you got to love them. Because if you move to love somebody because the word say you love them, you need to assess your spirit. Yeah, you got to assess your spirit. Because if it's just compulsory, that's not genuine love, man. And it's going to show over time because you fake it. You know what I'm saying? Peter told you have unfeigned love for the brethren. That means this love here is authentic. It's not fake. It's not hypocritical. It's authentic. You know what I'm saying? And you have to sit back and look at, do you have that? See, like I told you, people, when they get in the word, they teach you to want to have love for everybody except for the people who in the word. You know what I'm saying? Have love for the poor, the homeless, this, that, and the third, but the people in the word, it don't matter if you love them or not. Don't matter if you do them any kind of way or not. Which is why so many people be looking for people outside the word to love them. Because most people who in the word ain't got no love in them. And see, the harsh reality of that situation is we don't want to acknowledge that. You don't want to acknowledge that because it's false care. You fake caring. You don't really care about what this person's dealing with. You just performing to care because you feel like the word says you have to. And you know why? Because people have petty beefs, disagreements, and strife about things of no consequence, which if they actually love this individual from the heart, they will iron those things out because the love will be greater than some petty strife or disagreement, some miscommunication or misunderstanding, because the love is greater than that. But people pick and choose who they love. You only want to love the people you like. But that was what he was teaching you when he said, hey, man, if you salute your friends also, what think have ye? So you only show love to your friends? And you think that make you godly, huh? See, showing love to people, but that's because people be too emotionally invested. See, remember, the book tells you that you have to crucify your affections and lust. So there comes a point in time where you should be devoid and detached emotionally. That way you can show love to an individual that you particularly don't care for. And I would hope that you particularly don't care for them because they actually did something to you. See, if you don't care for somebody because somebody said something about this person and you didn't have a direct experience with them, you're immature. Which I can see from what I see people post in Brews anyway, you know what I'm saying, about some of the reconciliation events and things of that nature that they be having. That's a big thing with a lot of people, that a lot of people are separated from each other because what somebody else said about somebody, they didn't have a direct experience with this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna never tell y'all, oh, don't mess with this person, because that's none of my business. Because my experience with that person may not be your experience with him. If you ask me why I don't fool with him, I'll tell you why I don't fool with him. I'm not gonna tell you not to fool with him because I don't fool with him. Because your experience might not be the same. But I'll tell you, hey, I don't fool. Even if I don't fool with him, I told you I'm a professional. So there's no emotions attached to it. Because if I don't fool with somebody, they did something that violated a code of honor and ethics. To where word-wise, I ain't got to fool with you. Meaning that I ain't got to slap it up and be, you know what I'm saying, shalom, brother Shaul, when I know you don't fool with me. Because I don't walk around looking at black people like, I don't like him. Man, come on, man. People might have quirks. It might be weird. You know what I'm saying? But that's not going to make me not like you. Like I say, that's immaturity. That's high school, middle school stuff. Can't dislike somebody who ain't did nothing to you. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Don't you have to pay attention to how a person treat others? I compare a person to how people treat others, but that ain't got nothing to do with me telling you, oh, don't mess with them, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You can pay attention to how people treat others and adjust yourself accordingly. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is I'm not going to tell you, oh, this person is this, that, there, and the third. Don't mess with them. Now, if I know, hey, this nigga steal, I'll put you up on game. Yeah, you might want to watch that nigga, he steal. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, that's up to you what you choose to do. You know what I'm saying? But if I don't fool with somebody, I'm not going to tell you not to fool with them. Or try to paint a particular narrative of an individual because I don't fool with them. And now you running with that narrative. But you haven't had a direct experience with this person. So I'm not doing that. But that's just me. Like I say, man, my man's had a whole gathering, and he, I think last month. And that was the basis, the main thing that he had, that he said he was dealing with, that's what a lot of brews be doing. Which is unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? That people have thought processes and about people based off what somebody else said to them. When, hey man, if you don't have direct experience with it, then you have to go have an experience with that individual on your own. You know what I'm saying? But he said that junk rampant. I don't know. I'm not in their circles. But clearly, shoot, if they had a 4-day event about 5-day event about it, clearly it has to happen more often than it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, that's just an example of that's not the love of God. He said he make it rain on the just and the unjust. We can read in the text, he showed love to the people who didn't love him and showed love to the people who did. Because love is who he is. His love isn't based on what somebody else does. And I told y'all that, and I tell y'all that all the time, man. You have to maintain who you are. You don't fundamentally change intrinsically who you are because of the behavior of others. That's how you get corrupted. See, we don't look at it that way because you look at it as you being protected.
Good night.
Oh, come here, son.
Good night. Bye. Thank you, big couple in the garage. Baba.
That's where they live at.
Ew. Interesting. Baba.
Go back. Yeah.
Come over here, Mom. Should we dad?
Yeah, they live outside, and then they come in the garage. And he gonna bite you on your butt.
No, you can't get in the house. Hopefully, be in the garage. Come on. I don't understand that.
You don't understand that? I understand. So listen, and I'm just mentioning that because of verse 8 of 1 John 4:8. For he that love not know not Elohim. You know what I'm saying? And I say love is not just performative. It's not something you just doing because you feel like you have to. Because that's not love. You know what I'm saying? That's what you got a lot of people doing. I gotta love her because I'm married to her. I gotta love you because I'm married to her. I gotta love you because you my child. That's not love at all. Because eventually it's gonna show on how you deal with this individual that you don't love them. Most people don't know how to love devoid of emotion. Meaning even if this person has just pissed you off, even if this person has aggravated you to no end, your love for them is greater than that present feeling of aggravation. The love is greater than that present feeling of anger. That's why you can read in Numbers 14 when he wanted to kill the people as one man and Moses interceded on the children of Yasharal's behalf. His love for Yasharal was greater than the anger in that particular moment. You have violated against me. You've moved me to move against you. But because this man came and interceded on your behalf, my love for you is greater than the wrath that I desire to exhibit for your blatant and foul disobedience and what's the word I'm looking for, man? Defiance. And that's hard for people to understand, where love can be greater than an offense, which is why Proverbs tell you love cover a multitude of sins. And that's why his love is enough. So let's continue. 1 John 4:9. And this was manifested the love of Elohim towards us, because that Elohim sent his only begotten son into the world that we might live through him. Herein is love, not that we loved Elohim, but that he loved us and sent his son to be the atonement for our sins. Beloved, if Elohim so loved us, we ought also to love one another. No man have seen Elohim at any time. If we love one another, Elohim dwell in us, and his love is perfected in us. Hereby know we that we dwell in him, and he in us, because he has given us of his Ruach. See, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Shalom, Jad. That's what a lot of people don't understand. If the love of Elohim is in you, that's the really be the proof evidence that his spirit is in you. See, the love of God can't dwell in bitterness, resentment, contention, strife, anxiety, hard-heartedness. That love can't dwell there. Can't dwell there. And see, it's hard on a natural level, I should say. Especially when you read it in the text, what the Lord doing. It's hard to love people who don't love you back. You know what I'm saying? And we could read the Psalms where it talk about that. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for people to do that. Because naturally, you want to let that love recess back where it came from. It's very hard to do it. And I understand why people would want to do it. Come over here to this song what I'm talking about. I think it's Psalm 69. I want. Or maybe it's Job. I can hear the verses ringing in my head. Psalms 109. Psalms 109 and 1. Say, hold not your peace, O Elohim of my praise, for the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are opened up against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. They compassed me about also with words of hatred and fought against me without a cause. This is going back to the people sitting out of ignorance. They not knowing they fulfilling this. For my love, they are my adversaries, but I give myself unto prayer. So listen, we know Yahushua said, hey, for the Elohim so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. And for the love that he was seeking to give unto them, they became his Satans. So what adversary means is a shaitan. They became an adversary. They became an enemy. Shalom, that. They became an enemy to this man. Because of love. Love made them an enemy. Now remember, what is love? Suffer long. Seek not our own. It's kind. It's not proud. It's not unseemly. That's what they became an enemy of. Now pause and think about that for a second, man. You would not think that those type of characteristics would make someone your enemy. But like the reel I seen the other day that I put in that story, which we all should know this from the word, like the people who went against the Lord were not the people who were down bad. It wasn't the people who was mentally, emotionally, and spiritually broken and deprived. It was the people who knew the book. Or at least they said they knew the book. It was the common people. It was the rulers. It was the whole congregation of Israel. But they did it out of ignorance. Like I said, he said, hey, man, Abba, forgive them. They know not what they do. He said, I hope through ignorance you did it. He said, had they known, they wouldn't have killed the Prince of Life. Do you understand how wild it is, man? And some of you may have experienced in your life without the word, much less in the word, that individuals become your enemies because you love them. People become your enemies when you love them because they don't know love. That's why they find it offensive. That's why they want to be on the opposite side of it, because love is not enough for them. I'm steady harping on that. So when you understand that when Paul is saying, I've had these things happen to me, and the messenger of the adversary buffeted me, and I asked the Lord 3 times to take this away from me, and his response was, my love is enough for you. I just want you to understand the context of what you're reading from 2 Corinthians 12, man. The man say, I got these things buffeting me. I asked 3 times, please take this away from me. And his response was, my love is enough for you, blood. And my strength is made perfect in weakness. That's his response. Now, when you sit back and you look at that from a natural point of view, the average person not going to be able to understand that. Average person not going to be able to understand that. What you mean my love is enough for you? Paul understood it though. He said, oh, I got it now. I'll esteem in my weaknesses that your power might rest on me. Yeah, that's what he's telling him. But hold on. You say that verse is highly discussed? Which one, man? You talking about the Corinthians? But you'd have taught me something. What we need at? Where we at, man? 1 John 4, verse 14. Oh, word. And we have seen and do testify that the Father sent the Son to be the Savior of the world. Whoso shall confess that Yahushua is the Son of Elohim, Elohim dwell in him and he in Elohim. And we have known and believed the love that Elohim have to us. Elohim is love, and he that dwell in love dwell in Elohim, and Elohim in him. Herein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. There is no fear in love, but perfect love cast out fear, because fear hath torment. He that fears not made perfect in love. We love him because he first loved us. And see, that'd be the hardest part for people to understand, because they thinking, well, if God's so loving, why he put us in a position where he got to send his son to be a sacrifice? See, that's the reality of ducking accountability. Because the text tells you he made man upright. Man sought out many inventions. The last thing that anybody, and again, it comes from this one common point. You say Moses tried to use his weakness, and yet, indeed, he did. That's a fact. And it comes from this one common point. And I tell y'all this all the time. And this is strictly for men. This is not for women. Most men don't know what it's like for a woman to love him of her own accord and free will and desire. I love you because I want to love you. Not because you're compelling me to do it. Not because you're forcing me to do it. But because the manifestation of the character of who you are, what you represent, how you conduct yourself, I want to be down on your team. Most men don't do that. Most men feel like I have to do and or make a woman love me. So the thought process that you have God, Baruch and Kadash is the name of Yahuwah. That's like, nah, I'm going to put it on the floor. And you either going to love me or you not. I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to compel you. I'm not going to convince you. I'm not going to do any of these things. I'm going to lay it out plain who I am and what I'm about, and you could choose. That's true pimping. See, when a lot of be telling people like, yeah, man, they be like, man, you be talking this, that, then the third. Yeah, we move by pimp principles. And if you understand what pimp principles actually are in reality and totality, instead of thinking about pimps and prostitutes, then you would understand why we say it. I'll give you a piece of it if you don't recall. You could take Ecclesiastes 8:4, or it's 8:5, 1 to 2. You could fact check it. You say, where the word of the king is, there's power. Well, we know that Hebrew word for power there is mastery. See, one of the key things about pimping is about having mastery of self. Because we talk about it, man, you're not a true pimp and you land with all the women, man. That ain't what make you a pimp, man. You got control of yourself. You got control of your tongue. You got control of your emotions, and you got control of your libido. You don't let desires move you from the aspect of fulfilling the objective of what you're there for. That's when you pimp your flesh, you pimp your desires, because I'm in control of that. Now, how are we in control of that? Because the word of Elohim is there. So we, like Paul said, we're not fighting like we fight in the air. We're striving for mastery. Well, what gives us mastery or the temperance or the self-control? Well, it's the seed, and the seed is the word of Elohim. And when that seed brings forth fruit, it brings forth the Ruach of Elohim, and we able to pimp our flesh. We got control over that. The flesh don't control us. We control it by the word of Yahuwah. That's pimping, man. You understand? But individuals not going to pick up on that. You want to take the next aspect of it. Pimps don't choose, they get chose. They get chose. So when you sit back and you look at how Yahuwah operate, he choose the people, and then he give the people the opportunity to choose him. See, what I mean by that is he choose to set his love on you. It ain't nothing you had to do to get his love. It's no righteousness of your own. It's no beauty of your own. It ain't anything you did other than the realness that he exhibits and exemplifies and magnifies within the earth. But in the midst of that, I'm still going to let you choose. Now, I can drop this game and make it some, you know what I'm saying? Not just some cross-country pimping, but some worldwide pimping. That where you see a pimping, you can see it, you can taste it, you embrace it, and you come over here and you live it. But you still going to have to choose, though. Even with that in Deuteronomy 30, you already know what he said. I said before you life and death, blessing and cursing, therefore choose life. That's pimping, man. You're going to have to choose up. You can barbecue a mildew. What you going to do? You got to choose up. You know what I'm saying? And you got to make a decision. And people don't like that because they feel like he should chase and he should beg and he should make me love him. Why do I have a choice to pick pimping or not? Why I have to choose? Why don't you make me take your pimping? Because you a buster, nigga. That's why you think like that, because you a sucker. Because you know the woman you got don't love you, don't care about you, and don't fool with you. So you feel like you have to make yourself a dancing monkey and shuffle and catch and fetch and step to do anything to make this woman stay here with you because she don't want to be with you because she ain't choose you, nigga. So you think God should do the same. And he got more self-respect than that because he know who he is. He know what he about. He know what he got to offer. I ain't got to beg you to choose me because you losing out ain't no loss to me. That's a loss to you, baby. You know what I'm saying? What that boy say on Doggy Dog World? He say, man, me without you is like Harold Melvin without the blue nose. Nigga, you'll never go platinum. You know what I'm saying? That's how you look at it. And that's hard for men to understand because you've been socialized to believe that you have to force, convince, pursue, chase, whatever adjective you want to use, or verb, I should say, you want to use to get that woman to choose you. Because you ain't ever walked in a room and got chose. So it's hard for you to understand what it's like for somebody to choose simply because of who you are and what you stand for and what you about. So when Yahuwah step in the room through his servants, the prophets, the apostles, the evangelists, the pastors, the teachers, and they lay that word on the floor, you choose him. Now, some people are drawn to him. That's a whole nother conversation. You did? Like I say, man, that's hard for people to understand that you get to choose. And when you get to choose, you know what happens? You actually love them. So you're actually going to love them back. You're not going to be performative. Shalom. You're not going to be performative. See, when you get chose and this person is doing the chasing, your love is performative because you're only performing to get what you want. Then once you get what you want, I don't need you no more. I've extracted everything I got to give. Because I feel like now you've given me more than I gave you, I can leave. This is just a human framework of how people look at it, man. You know what I'm saying? Say Isaiah 4:1 apply to. And that one is more so, they choose it. Yeah, they choose it. You know what I'm saying? They choose it. They say, hey, man, we just want to be called by your name. They're choosing him. Now, I've always told y'all this particular point of view. Because most men are socialized to simp. But I'm not talking about simping in the aspect that these goofy niggas on the internet be talking about simping. I'm talking about simping in the pure definition of what simp meant in 1987 and 1986, a fake pimp. So in the fakeness of thinking that you have a woman who's down with you, you're really paying and manipulating and doing everything you can to make someone who don't want you. She didn't choose you. You chose her, and now you're performing to get her to stay because she don't really want to be there. Versus a pimp walk in the room, and that woman chose him because that's what she want to be. So when you read that John 6 and 69 or 60, I should say, or John 6 and 59, 58, when he told them, amen, drink my blood and eat my flesh. So whoever drink my blood and eat my flesh dwell in me and I dwell in them as I dwell in the Father, and they live by me. And they said, that's a hard saying, man. Who can hear it? And they stopped walking with him. And he said, y'all gonna start walking with me too? Peter said, where we gonna go? You got the words of eternal life. They chose. See, when Yahushua put that pimping on the floor, he gave them people an opportunity to, amen, choose up a blow up. And they chose to blow up. They chose to blow up because they didn't want to get down with what he had going on. So it's hard for us to frame that a man can state plainly, this is what I'm about. You can roll with it or you don't. Because you think he's supposed to push. That's how people use that. He said he go find the lost of the 99 sheep, and you think that mean to chase you and beg you. No, that's not what love look like. Love don't beg. If you got to beg, it ain't love. Yeah, that's not love, man. Love don't, nobody begs to love another person, man. Indeed, perspective in my prospects, absolutely. Like, listen, man, that's not how that works. Yahuwah not gonna beg you to love him. If you gotta beg to somebody to love you, your love ain't worth having. And if again, when we reiterate, his love is long suffering, it's kind, it don't seek her own, it don't behave itself unseemly, it's not proud. That's a love worth having. It's sacrificial. It gives strength. That love is enough. He ain't even beg you to take that. Not for to beg you for that. But again, I'm reiterating, people don't want love, man. That's not what they want. That's not what they want. Because again, love is a selfless act. It's selfless in and of itself. That's why I say we didn't first love him, he loved us. Because we can't framework you out of pocket. I'm going to sacrifice myself for you. Again, when we talking about Wednesday, who could redeem Adam? Only God can redeem Adam. Adam ain't got no near kinsman. Adam ain't got no near, his sons ain't his near kinsman to redeem him. They can't redeem him. They under the same curse that he under. It's going to take the giver of life to give him back the thing that he lost. His only near kinsman. Let Yahuwah be esteemed. But let's continue. If a man, this is verse 20. If a man say, I love Elohim and hate his brother, he is a liar. He that love not his brother whom he have seen, how can he love Elohim whom he have not seen? And this commandment have we from him, that he who love Elohim love his brother also. Why? Because in the image and likeness made he him. But nevertheless, what I had, man, Psalms 109, that's what it was. I don't think I finished Psalms 109. If I did, my apologies. Psalms 109 and 5. I'm going to read verse 4 again. For my love, they are my adversaries, but I give myself under prayer. For they have rewarded me evil for good and hatred for my love. Notice what he said, man. They gave me hatred for my love. That's a hard thing to understand. I loved you and you hate me for it. You know what I'm saying? We could read John 15 just because we still holding Proverbs 24. I know I'm setting a framework from a whole different direction of what we started Wednesday, but bear with me, man. My mind shifted yesterday on where we at with it. On certain things I was thinking about as it pertains to the 2 Corinthians 12. John 15 and where we at, man? Well, I'll be there. It is. I'm going to say that done gone. I'm going to start at verse 12. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 9 and work my way down. See, I'm going to tell y'all something, man. which is really overlooked by a multitude of people who in the word, in my estimation, this is just my opinion. I don't got no facts on that. It's just based off my anecdotal experience of what I've seen. Just like we read in 1 Corinthians 13 when Paul say tongues will fail, prophecies will fail, knowledge will vanish. Because we think, and all those things have the power of Elohim contained in it. But I think very many people, and they use it in a platitudinal way by just saying it, but it be empty because it ain't backed by nothing. But the most powerful thing in this word, from what I can see, that is completely overlooked is the love of Elohim. And I ain't talking about just love towards Elohim. I'm talking about love towards each other with the love of Elohim. That's the most powerful thing that we can exhibit outside of faith. And in my opinion, those two things are mutually exclusive. That faith and love are one and the same, in my opinion. I got text to back it, but I won't take us down that road at this particular juncture. And nevertheless, and I say that because if we look at faith from the Hebrew, it's steadfastness and reliability. And if we look at that Elohim is a rock and Elohim is love, that's steadfastness and reliability. And I genuinely believe you can't love somebody who you don't got no faith in. But see, that faith is always, for most people on a human level, is always related to the tangible material things that they can do. You got to ask yourself, man, if all a person had to give was love, would that be enough for you? And for most people, the answer is going to be no. Because we hear that all the time. Oh, you need more than love. If I need more than love, then what? That love ain't there. See, that's when people scream, Lord, don't pay the bills. If you love God, it do pay the bills. Nigga, what is you talking about? He say, take no thought for your life. But you got anxiety and worry for. Say, your Abba in heaven know you need of all those things. So don't tell me that love don't pay the bill, because you a goddamn lie from hell. What the hell you talking about, nigga? You could tell that to somebody else. You really just trust in Caesar. That's what it is. So just say that. See, again, and I'm being aggressive in this particular fashion because I really be wanting y'all to understand. Pay attention to what the word say and understand what this man's communicating when, and you know what people are actually saying, and you could be able to look him in the eyes and, nah, man, you really saying this here. You just don't have the chutzpah, the testicular fortitude to just say that because you're worried about the stigma that's going to come with that because you say you in the word, but you really don't want love for real. Love's not enough for you. I'm just steadily focused on that because of the statement what he told Paul. Now, we was having this conversation today. Well, I didn't participate, but I was listening. And they were talking about Matthew 24. And just the aspect of he was only talking to his apostles. Now, I had a verse in my mind. I'm not going into what they were arguing about because I don't care about that I wanted to interject. But I chose to hold my peace. Mainly because it just didn't flow for me to be able to interject it. And that was in John 17. In John 17, he said to his apostles, I'm around the corner, I'm right by, so I can read it. Right here in John chapter 17, man. What verse that? I started 17 because that's how I feel. Sanctify them through your truth, your word is truth. And have you sent me into the world, even so I've also sent them into the world. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. Neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word. And that was the aspect of what they left out in that comment. Oh, he was only talking to his apostles, but nevertheless, he came back later on and said, hey, I just don't do that to them, but to anybody who gonna believe on me based off what I said to them. So then you take into account that these men went and established assemblies all across, quote unquote, Asia Minor. So that means the very things that he said to them in Matthew 24 was given to other people aside from them. Now, there was another conversation to be had, and if I get in that chapter, I'll read y'all the document that Mama put together from Jeremiah 30, in Matthew 24. It's good stuff in there. Lord willing, if we get a chance to swing to those chapters, we can be able to go over that. Or I can just take them and put them in the group chat, and you can take them and look at them for yourself. Either or, whichever floats your boat. Nevertheless, it was a statement that was being made, because I be listening to certain arguments that people be having. When I say arguments, not in a debate, but differences of ideas being jousted. And it just be revealing to me how some people don't really have a strong of command of the subject matter as they believe that they might have. One of them instances when they was mentioning Jeremiah 30, and he was like, yeah, Jesus ain't mentioned here. It ain't talking about him. Now, somebody who has a New Testament point of view, your immediate response should be, hey, man, he say search the scripture because they testify to him. So you may say that it's not referring to him, but your opinion is not the harbinger or standard of which we operate from things, sir. But a lot of them know how to do that. So, you know what I'm saying? That's neither here nor there. Say, right. So do you think Yahuwah has a personal relationship with everybody who keeps his commands, but certain people just still do their own thing and that's okay? Oh, shalom, my G. For sure. Oh, grand shoot. Praise Yahuwah. I mean, I believe that Yahuwah has a personal relationship with those who are one with him, who dwell in him and he dwell in them. You know, the personal relationship, I don't really like that terminology because that's Caucasian terminology, but I don't ridicule people about it because I understand, for lack of a better term, what else are you going to say? You know what I'm saying? But it's really just being a Kad, just being one with him. And if you one with him, then you would yada, which means you would know him by experience, which be by definition, you would have a personal relationship with him, if you would. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at Hebrews 13 and 17 that Brody put in there real quick. But yeah, I do believe that anybody who is dwelling in the word and the word dwelling in them, you don't have no choice but to have a personal relationship with him, because then you would be Levi, you would be joined to him. And anybody you join to, you have a relationship with, because you would have to know them by experience. Hebrews 13 and 17. Obey them that have the rule over you and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls as they must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for it is unprofitable to you. And I back that up to about verse 15, right? When he said, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to Elohim continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. But to do good and to communicate, forget not. For what sacrifices Elohim is well pleased. And to do good and to make sacrifice of love. Remember, gather together my saints who've made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And loving it in itself. You remember, some of y'all who were around for it, when we were dealing with the Aleph man, just using that terminology instead of alpha man that, people like to talk about. But looking at an Aleph man or alpha male from the alphas of alphas, which is Yahushua HaMashiach, looking at Aleph, what that represents and what that communicates, and one of those things is being altruistic or self-sacrificing. Because the aspect of being an alpha male or an Aleph man, if you would, is to be loving, because Elohim is love. It's always going to flow out from that. There's never an instance where the love of Elohim is not going to be the lead thing. That's why I believe that it's the most powerful tool in the word that is neglected, because it's just used as a platitude, or as Mama like to say, it's a facade. Because these people don't really love nobody. They don't love God. They don't love themselves, so they can't love you. One of the most difficult things in life, I would say, for most people is that if you are intrinsically a loving individual and to be surrounded by unloving individuals, it could siphon off the love that you have in you. You know what I'm saying? Why I say you have to fight ardently to not be corrupted by letting outside forces fundamentally change you from who you are intrinsically. If an individual don't got love in them, that's not a reflection of you. That's a reflection of them. You don't let that change who you are, because this nigga don't got no love in them. You continue. Listen, we can come back to John 15. Yahoo, you just read in Psalms 109. He say, for my love, you are my adversaries. And you gave me hatred for my love. That did not change what Yahusha is, was, and came to do, simply because them people did not love him back. See, we look at if somebody don't love me back, or somebody don't do this, then you allow that to alter who you are. So now you have to look at two things in that scenario. Either A, you've allowed an individual to corrupt you from your original nature, or B, that was never your nature. Now, for I would say it's probably about 60-40, maybe even 70-30 for most people. 30% meaning that wasn't your nature. But for that 70% or 60%, you allow the world to corrupt you from the essence of who you actually are. And it's because it's a fail-safe because you believe you're doing this in protection of yourself. But in reality, you're not protecting yourself. You're destroying yourself because you're fundamentally altering who you actually are. This is why the book say Yahuwah, he say, I change not. Yahushua HaMashiach, the same yesterday, today, and forever. He said Elohim is faithful. He said if you deny him, he cannot deny himself. Because he's not going to allow the behavior of man to fundamentally alter and change who he is. He said, cast away from you all your sins and transgressions, so iniquity won't be your ruin. For I have no pleasure in the death of him that dieth, so turn yourselves to live. For why will you die, O house of Yasharal? Because it's not my desire to destroy you, but to deliver you. But if you leave me no option, I will destroy you. That's what I was telling the dog. Like, listen, man, y'all think God's somebody to play with. He was, why would a God need to do that? Is it ego? It's not about ego. See, people think it's ego because when somebody is in a powerful position and you know they merciful and you know they kind and you know they serve and you know they do these certain things and you know they forgiven, you feel like you can play with them. And then you want to look crazy when they get tired of your folly and bust you in your mouth. Because you go to looking at him, you go to thinking this nigga's a hoe. And you know why you go to thinking he was a hoe? Because if I was him, I wouldn't let me get away with all of this. That's the same way I told y'all the other day, man. If you were a woman, man, and you allow that woman to continually disrespect you, she's not going to see it as disrespect because you're letting her do it. And I don't blame her for that. See, the average dude is going to blame her for that. I'm not going to blame her for that. I'm going to blame you for that because you allowed it. You allowed it. Why would she see it as disrespect if you continually let her disrespect you? See, y'all think checking disrespect is getting belligerent, being loud, being verbally abusive and disrespectful. No, it's simply, that's unacceptable behavior, man. And if you continue with such repugnant conduct, I will have to sever our relationship at this time. I will walk away from you. That's exactly what Yahuwah did. I'm going to walk away from you because this is disrespectful to me, which is why Ecclesiastes says, because a sentence against an evil work is executed speedily, is privily in the hearts of the sons of men to do evil. You think I'm someone to be played with. So he has to show you, don't play with me. But people think, what type of God would do that? That's ego. No, you want to play with somebody and then try to blame them and paint them out to be the evil one because you with the shenanigans. Nah, man, that ain't how that goes. So my question would be, how do you not destroy yourself by helping and loving others as you will desire? Because that's what's in my heart. You help them. If you helping people because that's what's in your heart, then they could never destroy you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you'll never be destroyed if what you're doing is from the heart. You can never be destroyed. It can never happen because you weren't doing that for no other reason because that's who you are. So they couldn't destroy you if they wanted to because you weren't doing that for their acceptance. You weren't doing that for their applause. You wasn't doing that for their praise. You were doing that because that's fundamentally who you are as an individual. So if they did anything contrary to that, that would be negative to you, you just remove the love. Or you continue to love them in that capacity, but you alter how you interact with them. Because I already see what type of time you on, but that's not going to stop me from being who I am. Because once I leave from here, that's not my loss, that's your loss, baby. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to view yourself. It's like I said, he just told you, man, you know what I'm saying? Acknowledge your kindness like you would your righteous and deliver it to all, but understand the sacrifice of others is foolish and turn away from. Yeah, you don't want to make it, definitely not. If it's going to make you turn away from God, yeah, you got to love him from a distance. But if it's in your heart to do, you just do it. Because that's who you are. That's why I said Elohim is love. It's in Yahuwah to love. It's in Yahushua to love. That's just what they do. At the same token, if you with the tomfoolery, they're going to walk away. And you have to make people feel the vacuum of your absence, which we can read that all through the book of Judges, through Chronicles, through Kings. They felt the vacuum of his absence when he removed himself. Because a lot of people feel like if you love me, you should put up with my foolery. Like I told y'all, man, like when I heard that dude make that song, man, you cheated on your wife and you got mad at your wife for not being there for the harm that you inflicted on her. See, some people will hear those type of things and be like, yeah, she should have been there for you. Got to be the goofiest of the goofy. That you think that you could do somebody dirty to the point where their mental health and sanity is deteriorating. You know what I'm saying? And then pin it like, oh, you wasn't there for me. Well, I wouldn't have to be there for you if you weren't doing that to me. See, if you didn't harm me, you wouldn't need me to be there for you. How can I be there for you and you're inflicting harm on me? And a nigga hear that and think that brother, they're humble, man. That's some humble stuff to say. You's an idiot. You's an idiot. Niggas will hear that and be like, yeah, man, she should have been there for him. Nigga, how? You sound stupid. You know what I'm saying? People are insane. A lot of people I know don't believe in love from a distance, but I do. I mean, because it's not that they don't believe in it. They still want access to it while continuing to do you dirt. That's all. People want that close proximity to have access so they continue to do you dirty. They want to be able to siphon the love from you while draining you mentally, spiritually, and emotionally and leaving you destitute. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't got to be sitting around talking about in the name of love and let somebody trample all over you. No. You ain't got to do all that. You can still love people, but I ain't got to be in close proximity to you. You know what I'm saying? People guilt trip you into believing that you have to. I'm not one of them people. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you that. Now, I done told you, love your people. Go see your people. But, hey, man, if your people don't love you, man, you ain't got to go around them. Listen. It took me being, 2000? How old it was in 2017? I was 36 years old when my daddy died, man. My daddy ain't really bring me around as people like that. You know what I'm saying? And kicking it with my brother one day, he was like, boy, this whole family dysfunctional. And when my daddy died, man, and we was at his house, man, and they was in there talking about putting together his arrangements, and these people was in here arguing and going through what they were going through, man. And my cousin stood up in the house and said, boy, ain't no love in this house. And walked out. At that moment, man, on May 13, 2017, I said, I see why the Lord ain't had me around these people. Because my mama people wasn't like that. It was love in that house. And he kept me away from unloving people. You know what I'm saying? I can see it. I can't even say it. My daddy did it intentionally. But them people ain't had no love for each other at all. I ain't even saying that to be hyperbolic. I'm talking about them people don't got no love, no care, no concern for each other at all. It's not there. And you can see it in the reflection of how these people conduct themselves towards each other, which will probably be reflected on how the things, the decisions that they made when they came in contact with other people. So when people sit back and tell you family over everything, this, that, then the third, especially if you don't come from a loving family, it's a manipulation tactic to stay there so you can continue to be in a vacuum of lovelessness, if you would. so that you can be destroyed. Because they'll never set it in your brain that, man, I ain't got to stay around here and fool with y'all. Because I'm telling you, your God ain't finna stay around here and fool with y'all if love is not being there. You're not going to stay there. You don't love me? Fine, that's cool. That's no problem. I'm out. And it'd be hard for people to walk away because you convince yourself it's something wrong with you for walking away. I'm going to slide, boy. I'm not fooling with you, boy. And I know you don't fool with me. What I look like? You know what I'm saying? He said, can't help but think that statement by Paul about my grace is sufficient. You can be used easily by the adversary to paint my God as a sinner instead of a human. Fair. Why though? Is it a childhood trauma they went through to treat people like that? For some people it is, and some people just ain't got no love in them. Listen, right? And that's fair that you ask that. But I'm going to tell you something, man. I heard a brother say, which is a true story. Sometimes you don't need to try to psychoanalyze people, man. Sometimes you don't need to try to figure out why they like that. Try to understand why they like that. That nigga ain't got no love in him. I'm out. I don't want to figure it out. That nigga's weird. That nigga's evil. He's uncaring. He's uncompassionate. He's unmerciful. He's unloving. I don't need to figure out why. Sometimes you have to get that set in our minds sometimes. Don't worry about trying to find out why. You've identified them, mark them. Adjust yourself accordingly. Don't try to worry about the why. Because in the why, you're going to use it as an excuse to try to heal them. Because you really don't want to remove yourself from them. So you want to use the why so you can still stay connected, thinking that you can fundamentally alter and change this individual instead of saying, nah, I'm good. You're not Yahuwah, man. You don't understand their frame. You don't search the heart and the reins. That's not your job. Sometimes you just understand this nigga's weird. And that's it. That's all I need to know. They're weird. I'm out. Not finna sit here and willfully let you destroy me. Sometimes you have to be selfish when it comes down to protecting you. I ain't talking about this goofy stuff what people be talking about. I'm talking about when people really doing you harm. Sometimes you have to be really selfish and say, I'm out. I'm going to protect myself. I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Say when they show you who they are, yeah, believe me, yeah. Yeah, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I tell Mom Dukes that all the time. Hey, man, these niggas going crazy, make it leave. You don't got to stay around here and sort this stuff out with these people, man. These niggas wrong. These people know what they be doing. These people know how their behavior can affect you. They don't care. Because if they cared, they wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? They'll come back later and say, oh, yeah, my bad, mama. I'm sorry. This, that, there, and the third. But if you were sorry, you wouldn't have started. I just say that from like this here, right? I couldn't imagine, like on a natural, in a face-to-face level, like y'all have mercy on her soul if my mama was still alive. And I know, okay, me and my sister in the house and my cousin in the house, and I know that if we sitting in here arguing with each other, that it would have a negative effect on her health. But I'm gonna sit here and argue with them anyway, knowing how they could affect her, and just say, "Oh, my bad, mama. I know that." No, I'm not finna do it. Not if I say I love this person, I'm not finna do it. Because whatever contention we got going on, it can't be greater for the love that I have for this person over here. That I know it's going to negatively affect them. That means I'm putting what I got going on before the love. That's why I say love don't seek our own. That's what individuals don't understand. You're going to put that before the love, my nigga? That's selfish. We don't view it that way because we ain't taught it that way. You know what I'm saying? You say in marriage, how would one apply that and still coexist? So how did the word influence and change your life? How does it feel to have people you love pass? How does it change you as well? I mean, shoot, man, I've had plenty of people I love pass, man. It's just a part of life. So if they in the word, then you know you have hope. To answer your question, Derek, man, the love, I've always told you, the love got to be greater than the offense. It ain't always about who right and who wrong. It's about making sure that the love is maintained. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just make sure the love is maintained, man. Sometimes you're going to bump heads. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're not always going to agree and you ain't going to see things eye to eye. But you got to lead with love, though. The love got to be more important. than your feelings. That don't mean that you don't give a person space to feel what they feeling, they express what they want to express, or whatever the case may be. But then the love got to win out. Irregardless, the love got to win out. So, irregardless of my particular point of view, what I'm upset about, I can't let that override the love. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all gonna be upset with each other. You're gonna bump heads. You're gonna feel certain type of ways, man. That's just normal with human interaction. He told you, you know, offenses must come. So that's gonna happen. But the love got to be greater. That's about as simple as I can put it. The love got to be greater. And when the love greater, then the reconciliation moves a little faster, if you would. He said when your spiritual body gets stronger, the hope and faith is right there and very accessible indeed. But yeah, man, like I say, man, now the word influencing and changing my life is the aspect that I understood and knew that Yahuwah is the living Elohim and his word is true. And since his word is true, I need to change my life to be in line with his righteousness. So that's how it influenced it and changed it. But I say with how does people pass and change you? I mean, it depends on who passes and where you at in your life when they passed. Because everybody deal with death differently. So that's a nuanced thing. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot, the first time I experienced death, man, I was 5 years old, man, 4 or 5 years old. That's one of the first memories I have is being at my great granddaddy Rayfield funeral. I can remember that. I remember seeing his body in the casket as I'm talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, my grandma passed. Then after that, my granddaddy passed. You know what I'm saying? Then you had time, that was 1991. So then after that, you know, Grandma Simple passed. That was my homeboy grandma, you know what I'm saying? My homeboy Harold passed. That's when it started. He died when he was like 16, so this is like 96, 97. And then that's when we start getting into nigga peers passing away. Now it ain't like, you know, as a jit, I'm a child. My granddad, I was 10 years old, my granddaddy passed. You know what I'm saying? I'm 6 years old when my grandma passed. I'm like 4 or 5 years old when my great granddaddy passed. I'm 19 years old when my auntie passed. Now when my mama passed, I was 43 years old. You know what I'm saying? I'm 36 years old when my daddy passed. That junk gonna hit you because that's your parent. But then you also knowing when you get to a certain age, at least at the age that I was at, that this is a part of life. Now, the life's going to be fundamentally altered because you used to a person being there and they're not there no more. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have, you know, Brother Goldie passed, Sister Tamara passed, Sister Ophelia passed. You know what I'm saying? One of the brother's daughters passed. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. My homeboy Reese died on Joanne's second birthday. You know what I'm saying? And I pulled up right after they picked the body up. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up with Reese. You understand what I'm saying? Matter of fact, when I be telling y'all about when y'all have mercy, my big homie Damon passed, Cud passed, that's who I was arguing with Reese. You know what I'm saying? He passed. His cousin Nick passed. You know what I'm talking about? That was 2014. Shoot, man, little E passed, but Sean passed. Like, it's a lot of people I know, like, they gone. I grew up with these people. You know what I'm saying? Our OG little Robert just passed. Miss Connie passed, which was his mama. Like I say, man, I was 15 minutes from walking up and being in the house when she died because she had a stroke on the toilet, died right in front of my homeboy and a couple of our friends. You know what I'm saying? They had to see that. You know what I'm saying? This is 1998. They had to see that. You know what I'm saying? I missed that by like this here much. I'm glad I ain't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, my nigga Shippy died. That nigga John died. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, I'm 46 years old. So, of course, there's a lot of people I know they're going to be in the path away. My nigga Grape 8, my nigga Tony died. He had a heart attack. My nigga Lil Richie died. He had a heart attack at 30 years old. My nigga Jeff was murdered. My nigga Corey was murdered. My nigga Kenzo was murdered. You know what I'm saying? So you take all that stuff into play, man. It's just a part of life. And then you just realize that one day your day coming too. So when you know that day coming and you in the word, you make sure that you have your preparations to be right with your maker when you see him. You know what I'm saying? And if you round people and they people pass, to give them as much strength as possible, man, because everybody don't handle death the same. And like I said, it also depends on who passed. You know what I'm saying? Nigga parents pass, niggas take that hard. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, man. I had to hold my cousin when her mama died and when her son died. It wasn't nothing I could say or do. What you can do to alleviate that pain, man. That's her only son. Ain't nothing you can say. You can't do nothing but be there for him. See, a lot of people be looking for words and, let me say this or say that. Sometimes you ain't got to say nothing, man. Just be there. A lot of people don't understand that. You ain't got to be all them extras. I'm going to be, nah, man, you just be there. They want to talk, they'll talk. Sometimes you ain't got to say nothing. Sometimes you got to be a dog. Be quiet, but you understand. And just be a refuge. You know what I'm saying? So you got to consider. See, you young, man. So, you'll learn these things as you get older. 20 years old, young, man. Like I say, man, shoot. Year 20 for me, like I said, man, my auntie died 4 months before I turned 20. That was hard for me, man, because I love my auntie, boy. That was tough. You know what I'm saying? That was a hard pill to swallow. Some real nigga type time. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is, I can't let that negatively affect what I have to do. Because no matter what's going on, they're not coming back. So you have to take the love that they gave you, the wisdom that they gave you, the information that they gave you, and reflect back on it and make that do what it do. Yeah, I just didn't mention her by name. That's what I was referring to. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, and I was there for that. That's hard. When somebody passed, that was hard. You know what I'm saying? Because what you gonna say to somebody, man, they lost their child. If you ain't lost no child, you don't know what that's like. You don't know that pain. You know what I'm saying? That's a different type of pain. Just like it's a different type of pain if you young and you lose a parent. I say, man, I lost my parent, man. I was old, man. 36 and 43. Live life so you get to a point where you anticipate that that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? My mom was on dialysis for a long time. So I already had an anticipation in my brain that that's going to happen to try to prepare myself mentally for that. You know what I'm saying? So it just come with it. It's almost never anything that can be said. Yeah, that's all you got to do is just be there. I say, man, when my cousin called me, man, to tell me her son had committed suicide, man, I can't do nothing but be there. And that was on the Sabbath. So I was with her before I had to preach, man. I think I left my mom around now. Like, I got to go preach. You stay around here. When I get done, I come back over here. Only reason I wasn't in the room when my daddy died because I was preaching, man. I was on my way to the Mayo Clinic because I wasn't anticipating he was going to die before that. Or I'd have been there when he died. But yeah, I'm sitting there with her. What I'm going to say to her? Ain't nothing I can say to her to take that pain away. But see, we get taught that you feel like you got to say something. No, I ain't got to say nothing. Sometimes people just appreciate you just being there. Because that means, but I'm talking about because they know you care. Because with me, I'm going to be there as long as you need me. If you tell me, man, I'm going through it, man, I just want, I sit around there with you every day. Don't make me no never mind. And we ain't got to say nan word, man. And we can talk about whatever you want to if you want to. It don't make me no never mind. It don't bother me. If I love you, I fool with you. I don't care nothing about that. Because whatever nigga got going on, is it really that important? If it ain't involving the word, meaning because you got to move some word, now obviously people just can't take off from work. You know what I'm saying? Just at willy-nilly all the time. But really, what you got to do, that's more important than the love that you say you have for this person. And you know they're going through it. And you able to be around them. Then you go around them. Ain't that hard? You just go around them. You can pray for them. You can talk to them. You can sit and look at the wall. Sometimes people just be wanting to know that somebody going to be there. Because most times when stuff get ugly, people dip. This is part of the reason why I say his love is enough. Because with his love, he going to be there. He ain't going to dip on you. You might dip on him. He ain't going to dip on you. He done told you that. He only going to dip on you if you dip on him. He said, if you forsake me, I'll forsake you. But if you don't forsake him, he ain't going nowhere. And you have to understand that, man. If you don't forsake him, oh, I already know, Mika. I already know it. And that be the toughest part. You know what I'm saying? But Mika just meant being alone when you're going through it is terrible because your mind go to tripping. I would say the best way to deal with that in your particular situation, Mika, is when you go to feeling like that, to call somebody that you know gonna rock out with you. Just call somebody. Because like I said, it's harder for somebody to be able to, because of where you live at, in juxtaposition to everybody else, to just pull up on there and sit with you. But you just call somebody, even if niggas just sitting on the phone, listen to each other breathe. No, I understand. Yeah, that's amen right there. What's up? That little boy fighting again. John 15, man, and 9. That's what it is. Yeah, 9. I say, man, I watched my mama die, man. I had to tell them people to stop doing CPR. It's like it's over with. You know what I'm saying? And nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? So that's just life, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can get to the point, man, you don't ever want to get to the point to where you know somebody going through it, you know, physically in pain. Like, of course, you see people do that when people be on life support. And you want to keep them on it because you selfishly, you don't want them to leave even though you know they're suffering. But sometimes you got to love them enough to be like, go on here, take your rest, man. Not for to sit here and be like, no, just keep on pressing on her. I'm looking at her. She ain't there no more. So you have to understand your body is not who you is. It's the soul that's in you. Once that soul that's in you gone, I might see that vessel, but that vessel in reality is not you. Like you say, man, it's that flame, that's that light that's within you. It's the life that's in you that is you. And then you don't realize there's every bit of wisdom, knowledge, understanding, love, care, discipline, instruction, so on and so forth, that individual gave that person with you. And it's no different than what the word is, man. You know what I'm saying? If that same knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahuwah is in you and you in it, then God is with you. See, we say that with natural things, you forever in our heart, but we don't never say that about the word. Though. He said, man, I got people here brain dead, but the family still need the idea of that person. Indeed. Say, I'm about to have a baby boy. How does that change you, especially in the word? No, you straight, bro. You straight. I mean, how does it change you? Word or not, you a man now. You know what I'm saying? You have the responsibility of two people. The woman who bearing that baby and that baby. So you got people depending on you, so now you have to be responsible and judicious and wise in the things that you choose to do. Will you always make the best decision? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? But you sit back, learn from it, do better on the next go round. But shoot, the only change that it comes is understanding that you now have a sacred responsibility of raising, rearing, and instructing another human life. And hopefully I will hope that the woman who you've inseminated, you love her enough to make her a wife, because if you was able to make her a mother and not make her a wife, you're moving backwards. You know what I'm saying? I would hope that the baby you have is a reflection of the love that y'all have for each other, and that's why y'all produce a child. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is, now you got two people you're responsible for. So now you're going to have to stand up and move like a man in that regard. Try to accrue as much knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of life and the word as you possibly can, so that you can have something of substance to teach your son. You know what I'm saying? I know, like I said, people hit it, is it life-changing? Sure. But the reality is, it's only as stressful, as difficult as you make it, my G. To be 100% honest with you. It's only as stressful and difficult as you make it. But nevertheless, man. But yeah, that's how it's gonna change you, man. I mean, now to be and all difference between me and you is, I had my first child at 41 years old. So how I would have looked at having a child in the year 2000 When I was 20 years old, I couldn't even tell you. You know what I'm saying? Because it was intent in my brain to not have any children from any woman at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? It had nothing to do with women per se, because I know the women I was surrounded here, I'm not finna marry none of these women. You know what I'm saying? So why would I have children with them? So there is a disparity when it comes to me. Now, some of the brothers who on here who had children around your age, had their first child, if they want to share their perspectives in the chat, you know what I'm saying? Help blood out and share with y'all point of view. Because I say my point of view is a little different because I was in my 40s. So that's why I say what I said also, I just thought about it. Because what I said was from the perspective of a 41-year-old man, you know what I'm saying, having a child versus having one in their 20s. So my approach was drastically different than everybody else's. But I really mean that though, gentlemen. For those of y'all who had y'all first child in your early 20s, you know what I'm saying? Look at what Rob here, man, just asked, man, and share your all experiences with him because he need that. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't just saying that just to say it. I genuinely desire for y'all to share y'all experiences with that man because I say my perspective different. I was twice his age when I had Joanne. So don't look at it different. John 15:9. It says, the Father had loved me, so I loved you. Continue you in my love. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I've kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant know not what his Lord do, but I've called you friends, for all things that I've heard of my Abba I have made known unto you. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you and ordained you, that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain. That whatsoever you shall ask of the Abba in my name, he may give it to you. Now, if you recall what's in Jeremiah 17, he say you never cease from yielding fruit. What we don't realize is, when they tell you the fruits of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, meekness, those things stay. They don't go nowhere. They don't go nowhere. I don't think we be realizing that. These things are permanent. I'm telling you, man, the greatest, and like I said, one of the gifts of the Spirit, according to 1 Corinthians 12, is faith. Like I said, in my personal opinion, faith and love is intertwined. Because where the faith is, the love gonna follow. So when you sit back and you be like, okay, the fruit remains. Well, there's faith. That faith gonna remain. That faith going to produce love. That love is going to produce meekness. That meekness is going to produce long suffering. That long suffering is going to produce goodness. That goodness is going to produce gentleness. That gentleness is going to produce joy and peace and self-control. All of these things produce, they don't go nowhere. That's why you say trust in Yahuwah, for trust in Yahuwah is everlasting strength, because that's a rock you built on something that can't move. It remains. It ain't going nowhere. That's why he says, my love is enough for you. Because his love ain't going nowhere. That's why I mentioned before what he said. If you don't forsake him, he won't forsake you. Let me read that in Hebrews 13 for you. I got Proverbs 24 sitting on me for a minute. He said, you had your first at 18, never got to experience my life the way I wanted to. The children were my priority, and I was still so young. I didn't live the life I had planned. And that's usually what happens. The stuff gets shifted and moved and adjusted. Things like that. Here you go, right? Hebrews 13, right? Verse 5. Let your conduct be without covetousness, and be content with such things as you have. For he hath said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. So that we may boldly say that the Lord is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me. Now, he also told Solomon that. He said, hey, man, if you be with me, I'll be with you forever. But if you forsake me, I'm out. It's in 1 Chronicles 21 to be exact. Come over here to Deuteronomy 31, though. This is what he's telling Yahushua, son of Nun. 31:6. He said, be strong and of good courage, fear not, nor be afraid of them, for Yahuwah your Elohim. What's wrong with him? He it is that to go with you, he will not fail you, nor forsake you. And a lot of people don't be understanding that. There said is to be an example. And that's a part of it too, man. You know, you want your son to be the man that you would want to see when you look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? As a man, when you look in the mirror, you got to be content with what you see. And if you look in the mirror and you see a man that you don't want to see, then you have to take that into account. Well, then you don't want your son to become that type of man either. That's why I mentioned that, you know what I'm saying? About just the aspect, and that was really in my brain a lot, but I didn't express it at the time. When we were looking at how they say the majority, especially with our people explicitly, read at an 8th grade level or below, that's ugly. You know what I'm saying? And you know where that stuff really come from? Because niggas don't come up around seeing people who read, or they're not pushed to read. You know what I'm saying? My mama pushed me to read, man. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta read. And keep your mind sharp. You know what I'm saying? You listen, man. I'd rather have my body fail than my mind to fail. You know what I'm saying? Because as long as my mind is sharp, I can still move and groove even if my body don't cooperate. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people with dementia and Alzheimer's, you know what I'm saying? And that's a tough thing to see when a person fighting to be who they know themselves to be. And it's the same when I seen people physically fail, because it was hard on my daddy to not be able to do things for himself that he was accustomed to doing. You know what I'm saying? It's hard when you see that type of stuff, man, when you're used to doing certain things. But I say, man, I would rather my mind to stay sharp, man. If you don't use your brain, it's not going to stay sharp. The only thing these people teach us to keep your mind sharp is to continue to pour money into their capitalistic system. You keep your mind sharp all day and all night for that. But when you're talking about keeping your mind sharp, it's forth as the ability to impart knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, especially everlasting knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We don't even have the capacity and ability to do it. How the hell do we have more desire to learn how to make money to benefit a system that is against your God and destructive to every single solitary participant in it? But not to sharpen your brain to give knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to the generations coming after you. That's a failure, man. But it's a part of the social engineering. So, you know, it is what it is. Shalom, man. No, for sure, man. Praise Yahuwah, man. Thank you, Yahuwah, man. That's a light matter, blood. Now, listen. I told y'all when this lady was talking about people feel like you can't ask questions or this, that, there, and the third. And they be like, no, that's what Bible study for. Man, we supposed to be here for each other, man. Love you too, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Niggas be wilding, man. You feel me? You be wilding because it's gotta go like this. Man, we here to serve each other, man. You know what I'm saying? We can deviate when it's necessary. That ain't no big deal. John 15:18. If the world hates you, know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love his own. But because you're not of the world, but I've chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. And if they persecuted me, they will also persecute you. And if they've kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hate me, hate my Father also. And if I had not done among them the works which none other man did, they had not had sin. But now they both have seen and hated both me and my Abba. But this come to pass that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law. They hated me without a cause. And you know why they hated him? Because they hate love. And sometimes you have to realize that, man. Amen, man. Love you too, man. Stay safe out here too, my G. Yeah, man, you'll be good, man. As long as you focus on you, a man, and continue to grow yourself as a man, you'll be good, man. And don't put a lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself. See, my auntie always told her children, don't do as I do, do as I say. I tell her, I don't know how they're going to take her serious when she don't even do what she says. They're not going to take her serious. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to take her serious. But that's what black people are socialized to say and do. And we think that's just what it is because the generation. See, we don't be, black folks don't be wanting to really acknowledge that the generations before us were stupid as hell. And they told us a lot of stupid things. Now, they may have told us some good things too. But we'll totally disregard all the idiotic, asinine, defective, and just outright failures of pieces of information to focus on the 1, 2, 3 pieces of good information. Instead of saying us understanding, they're human. They have some faulty information. I can acknowledge that they gave me faulty information, and that doesn't take away from the love or respect that I have for them. It doesn't mean that they were terrible people or terrible parents. They just had bad information. They were socialized to believe that this was a good thing to do. I have learned and seen that this is terrible information, and I'm not going to continue to perpetuate it. But see, we don't have the maturity to do that. That's why I always told you, I thank the Lord that my mom and auntie always told us, we human beings. So we don't know everything. And we're not going to make every right decision. So knowing that they came at us at an early age and humanized themselves, when they may have made a bad decision or did X, Y, Z, it wasn't no looking at, you should have did better. Because a lot of people had this anticipation that I wish my parents would have did. Man, your parents human beings, man. And they can only raise and teach from the standpoint of what they have to give. And you can't hold it against them for what they didn't have to give. Because where was they going to get it from? Where was they going to get it from? Because everybody think that they should have known. How they was going to know it? You're only going to know things based off the environment and the people whom you encounter. If you don't encounter anybody who has certain pieces of information, then they won't have the ability to give you that information. You just don't magically find stuff. That's unrealistic expectations that we put on people. Man, your mama was a 20-year-old child just like you were. Your daddy was a 24-year-old young man just like you were. What you expecting from them? What you expecting from yourself? You be tripping with that, man. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Say, yeah, numbers, knowledge, yeah, man. That's just my perspective, man. You know what I'm saying? So I thank the Lord, man. My mama them told us that because it changes things. She ain't got all the answers, and that's okay. Pops ain't have all the answers, and that's okay. My granddaddy said some stuff that was completely unacceptable to be saying to a young child. But that's okay. Because I can understand, I'm not on that. You tripping. No, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, man. You have to be able to accept the fact these are people too, man. They're fallible. They're fallible. Stop being mad with them about they didn't know. Now, I'm not talking about if they did. I'm not talking about niggas doing something to you now. I'm talking about they may have not always been able to impart or teach you certain things or give you certain things that you would have desired to have from a material standpoint, even from an informational standpoint. I'm not talking about abuse, though. Abuse is unacceptable. We're not talking about abuse. Proverbs 24:1. Be not you envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For the heart study destruction and the lips talk of mischief. So your real mom excuse is she didn't know how to be a mother. I ain't gonna lie, it may not be an excuse. It might just be the reality. You know what I'm saying? Either way it go, it's destructive to you, whether excuse or reality. You know, but some things don't be an excuse. She may not know how to. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, it's a lot of people don't know how to be a mother. It's a lot of people don't know how to be a father. Because the only way you would really know how to be a mother or a father is if you had one. You know, a lot of people tell you it's not no handbook for it. I mean, we can say that because you have the word, but that's another conversation. But the reality is, a good father and mother you're going to be is based off of the nurturing you got from your primary caregivers. You know what I'm saying? Whoever that might be. Not necessarily everybody might not be their, biological mother and father. But yeah, shoot, if she ain't had a mama, she wasn't going to know how to be no mama. I know sometimes, and I get why you would use the term excuse. Sometimes I don't look at people be making excuses. Sometimes I be looking at people, they're giving you a reason why they failed. Sometimes we don't be wanting to hear it like that. Sometimes it just be as simple as that. I failed because I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't really care to find out how to do it. So I just failed. Sometimes we just have to accept the fact that they failed. Unfortunately, their failure had a negative effect on you or negative effect on other people. And that'd be the negative about having children and failing. Because it's just not affecting you, it's affecting them also. Yeah, that's a hard, you know what I'm saying? That's a hard pill right there, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. That is a hard pill right there, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like, man. That's a hard pill. That's a hard pill. You say you got failed by both biological and adopted. Your real daddy love you. I didn't get my time when I leave the wound of having wanted parents to love and protect them. And it's understandable. And as harsh as this may sound, unfortunately, that's just a reality that you have to accept that part of your life, you're not going to have that. So you have to take the love you got from your father and hold on to that and just release the fact that in totality, the love that you wanted, you didn't get it, you learn from it, and you go on with your life. Because there's people who in the same position that you in, that the love they were wanted from their parents, they ain't get it. But you just have to accept the fact that, hey, like Psalms tell you, even though this is a different situation than what you're describing, hey, if my mother and father forsake me, Yahuwah will take me up. So if you didn't get that love from your parents, you can get that love from God. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, on its face, it don't sound as appealing because I would have wanted my mama to love me and I would have wanted my daddy to love me. But sometimes, man, you can't choose who your parents are. Sometimes people are blessed to have their parents, and sometimes people are blessed to not have their parents. And then sometimes people are cursed to have their parents simply because their parents were ill-equipped for the task at hand. And, because basically, people be horny and they be hunching. And a lot of people be hunching with no thought that you're going to have children. Like, that children is the byproduct of unprotected conjugals. People don't really that resonate in their brain until a baby on the way. You know what I'm saying? So I know that's a hard situation to cycle through. But I say as harsh as it is, you got to cherish the love you got from your daddy and let the other one go, because it is what it is. Yeah, I remember you told me that she was a drug addict, pregnant 9 times, had 8 kids. You know what I'm saying? Ain't really much you could do about that because she just made bad life decisions, and unfortunately it affected all of y'all. Say, what do you think marijuana and drinking does to an individual? Why do it to begin with? I mean, people smoke weed and drink alcohol for a multitude of different reasons. I can't answer why people do it. I ain't never drink. I smoke reefer because I enjoyed it. Other people might have smoked reefer for different reasons. I haven't smoked weed in 14 years. You know what I'm saying? But more than anything, it's just to satiate your flesh. You don't need no weed. You don't need no alcohol. Ain't nothing you need. It's something you want. So for some people, it is to numb the pain. For some people, it's strictly for intoxication. That's a case by case thing, man. It's not a one size fit all. So it's kind of hard to. I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for other people. I didn't drink. I didn't like to be inebriated. I didn't want to use anything that would cause me to not be in control of my faculties. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't want to be on nothing, and it could remove my inhibitions, and I could just make bad decisions and be powerless to stop it. I ain't wanting to do with that personally. You know what I'm saying? With marijuana, I just like smoking weed. I wasn't trying to numb nothing. I wasn't trying to cover up nothing. I just genuinely like smoking marijuana. But when it came time to serve God, man, you had to put that weed down, man. Can't be walking around here serving God, rolling a doobie. You know what I'm saying? And I say that because once you try to come up with a multitude of things in your mind to justify why you could do it or should do it, you already know why you ain't supposed to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? People try to say it's spiritual. Ain't no spiritual about no weed. That's you setting something on fire and inhaling it in your lungs. Ain't nothing spiritual about that. Strictly carnal. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said that about sex. Sex is spiritual. Ain't nothing spiritual about that. That is the friction caused by the joining of genitals that emanates bodily fluids from both set of genitals. Ain't nothing spiritual about that. Strictly a carnal desire and release. Doesn't mean that it's wicked. Just means that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And people don't be wanting to hear that. You say you using CD. Well, I know you using that for different reasons though. You using that for your No, see, you're not using that to get high. We done had conversations about that. If you've got anxiety, things of this nature, and that because there was medicinal purposes for marijuana, just like it's medicinal purposes for heroin and cocaine. You know what I'm saying? In this natural state, that's different than you getting high because you want to get high. Because in reality, marijuana is a depressant. It slows down your central nervous system. So that's why people want the THC to deal with anxiety because it relaxes you. Which is what they be doing when they give you anxiety pills. It's to relax you. You know what I'm saying? But if anxiety pills gonna turn you into a junkie, you know what I'm talking about? Because you end up being addicted to what's in them. So that's different. You know what I'm saying? But if you're just smoking weed to get high, I mean, shoot, man, what's the purpose? Nigga, if you want to be tired, just go to bed. You know what I'm saying? I heard some people mention some folks got sex demons on them. I'd be like, where they that stuff from church people? Ain't nobody got no sex demon on. Ain't no such thing as no sex demon. Nigga just a horn dog. Nigga just lustful. Like they say, it's the things that come out of a man that defile him. That's lasciviousness to this person. That's unbridled lust. He said, I can't take THC anything to get you panic and anxiety. Yeah, I understand, you know. I'm not really one that castigate people for what they may have to use for physical or mental health issues. You just got to sit down and understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and, you know, make sure you're taking something that's not going to affect you negatively. Because I ain't the one that got to live with whatever mental or physical ailment that you have. You have to live with that. So, you know, some people take a hard line stance. I don't take a hard line stance. So some people like, you know, we could pray it away. You know, we could pray over somebody. You can lay hands on somebody. You can do all of that. You know what I'm saying? But before you get to the point of doing that, this person still was dealing with that. So that's what they was using. So there ain't no need to, are you wicked as hell? Why you taking that? You know what I'm saying? That's goofy stuff, man. That's niggas don't really care about what you're going through. But the reality is, though, what Misha said, ain't no sex demons out here, man. Nigga ain't got no damn sex demon. Nigga just a hornball. Hey, boo. Huh, here you go. Very well. I don't know, you might be able to use this. I just opened that junk. Them people ain't coming to get this stuff. Give you some radiant skin. some strong nails and some healthy hair. Who you at, man? Proverbs 24. Verse 3. Through wisdom is a house built, and by understanding it's established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. Now, we didn't talk about this, right? And we know Yahushua has been made unto us wisdom, and that he's given us an understanding that we might know him that is true, and that we are in him that is true. And with that, that's how a house is built. And then through that house, we able to fill the chambers of it with precious and pleasant riches through the knowledge of his righteous servant would make many righteous. So I do believe people have varying levels of inner God-given strength, though. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do. But that God-given strength comes from the word. Now, some people are more mentally resolute than others without the word. But when that word get introduced, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Some people have a different level of maturity about things. I told you before, like, man, one time, boy, I was about 19. Junk was real for me at the time. I remember getting some reefer. I'm already knowing, like, I can smoke all this reefer. The stuff I'm dealing with is not going to make it go away. It's still going to be there. I still got to deal with that. But again, I'm a different type of individual. I was never trying to escape reality. Like when I would hear people like, we watch wrestling to escape reality. We want to go into movies to suspend. I was never a person who wanted to escape reality, because what do I want to escape realness for? The reality of life is still there. I have to be man enough to stand up and look it in the eyes and face it. Wanting to go for 2-3 hours or however long to where I don't want to have to think about it. It's just going to make it worse when them 2-3 hours is over with, because you're trying to escape from something. I just didn't have the mind to want to escape from something. You just got to approach it head on and try to figure out a way to overcome whatever it is that you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? That's just how my mind works. Whether you do it dolo, you do it with help. You know what I'm saying? Some things you do with dolo, but I also knew, man, sometimes, man, you got to ask for help. And as a man, you have to get out of this habit of thinking, I'm going to just do it by myself. I don't need no help. Then what that boy said on page, what's the point of having shooters if you can't effing use them? What's the point of having brothers if you don't effing use them? What's the point of having a support system? And that support system, not just your brothers, it could be your sisters, your parents, your uncles, your aunties. You know what I'm saying? What's the point of having all that and not using it because you got to prove how much of a man you are and I'm going to do it by myself? Nigga, that is absolutely retarded. It's absolutely retarded. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you see the Son of God not doing that. And when you get in the word and you see that even the prophets didn't do that, even the Son of God didn't do that, then nigga, why is you trying to do that? Because your example is not doing that. So why are you doing that? Like, that don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. He said, what's that? Yeah, it don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why I say, hey, man, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And carry one. That's why that stuff is in the text, man. You don't have to try to do everything by yourself. So I've always told you, man, Satan like it when you dolo. Because when you dolo, you ain't got no defense. Now, of course, we know when you look at the Hebrew word akra, brother, that's a strong defense. Well, you got a love that stick closer than a brother. That's why he said, hey, man, my love is sufficient for you. You got a love that stick closer than a brother. So if the love stick closer than a brother and the brother's a strong defense, his love and kindness is enough because it's protection for you. But we don't look at love as protection because we're looking at it from an emotional standpoint. So you're going to look at it different. One thing is to learn to listen and stay around people that are better an example than you, a little smarter and stronger. Indeed. To that maturity you're talking about is exposed. Yeah, it's built up by a verse. So we get into that verse. And then some things are built up from simple instruction. Like some of the older dudes I was around, man, That's pretty much what they told us to do, man. Rely on each other. What's the good of having somebody around you and you can't rely on him? But it wasn't even the relying on him on just some of the stuff that people be, talking about reliability on. If that's your brother, you got to be able to depend on him, that he gonna be there for you. You know what I'm saying? And when you actually get a chance to develop that or rolling with people who gonna be there for you, you understand, like, man, it ain't no big deal to call your brother. Or I'm going through it, boy. Or I got this going on or that going on. And because the nigga love you, he gonna be there. Just like I was telling, I done told y'all plenty of time before, man. Because so many people be so entitled and feel like they friends on. But if you know people love you and care about you, and you needed them to do something, whatever it might be, you already know if they had the ability to do it, they would do it. So if they tell you they can't do it, you ain't gonna be looking at no why or have no attitude, because they don't owe you no explanation, because I know you love me. So I know if you could, you would. So if you can't, it's because you can't, and it ain't never no mind to me. Because you my nigga regardless. Doesn't matter. That doesn't change that. Y'all know the song, man. If I ain't got it, I ain't your dog no more. You say, well, if that's the case, well, nigga, I ain't got it then. Because the love is not built on, only if you can do for me. Because if you already know if people love you, they going to do it. But also, just because I know a person love me and they going to do it, doesn't mean that I'm going to always want to lay that burden on them because I know they're going to do it. Not because I know they're going to do it because they feel like they owe me, but because I know they love me. So you don't want to take advantage of that. Some people don't mind taking advantage. Meaning that you only going to ask for assistance because you need it. And that assistance don't have to just be monetary. It could be the simple fact of just having an ear, just being of company, just being able to impart wisdom, or this, that, there, and the third. I know you got a wife and kids, and this, that, there, and the third. This is something me and my homeboys used to talk about all the time when we were young. You knew the time period gonna come. Hey man, we're gonna get older and we're gonna become men. You're gonna have a wife, you're gonna have some kids, you're gonna have this. We're not gonna be able to hang out and do X, Y, Z, and this, that, there, and the third all the time. You know that. But I know, boy, if you need me, boy, I'm gonna be there. Because you my nigga and I love you. I'm a phone call away. That's it. People don't be really having that because they round people who y'all niggas not friends for real. And that's why I always told you, man, when you in the word, if that brother around, that's your brother. Because that's what the words say, you should love him. Not because you feel like you got to love him because the words say you got to love him, but because Elohim is in love. It is love. And whoever is of Elohim is of love. So that's why you love him. Not because you have mutual interests. That's carnal stuff. The love is not representative of the interests we have. That's natural stuff. No, we don't operate by that. That's not how the Spirit of God operates. Like, that's what one of them ladies asked me. Do you and your wife say you have mutual interests? I don't need my wife to have the same interests as me. Nigga, I'm a grown man. I'm a grown man. That's childish. I know niggas might not feel that way with it, man, but that's childish, man. You don't pick no wife based off shared interests. If she like pottery, if I like pottery, I don't need her to like pottery, man. That's not what you choose no wife based off of, man. That's who you choose to hang out with based off of, man. That's not what you choose no wife for. They got upset. I'm like, man, listen, man. If I like football, I don't need my wife to like football or want to come to a football game just because I like it and you don't want to be there. Then you ain't got to come. And I ain't going to look at her like, oh, she don't like doing what I'm doing. Man, I'm a grown goddamn man. You understand how childish that is, man? What if she like flowers? You wouldn't want to go sit and look at flowers with her? Absolutely not. She got friends she can go do that with. Why you want me to come do that? Why do you want me to be interested in what you're interested in? Do you understand how inherently selfish that is, man? You think that's love, though. You think that's what being... Nigga, you stupid as hell. You watch too much TV. Listen, my old lady like to watch Hallmark movies. I'm not finna watch no goddamn Hallmark movie. I don't want to watch it. I could sit in there with her for a few moments. I don't want to look at that. Listen, she sat and looked at wrestling before show, but she don't give a damn about that. Did she go to a wrestling event one time? Yeah, she enjoyed herself. She enjoyed the ambiance, but that don't mean she finna follow it. And guess what? I wouldn't have been mad if you like, I ain't going to no damn live event. I don't want to see no niggas in draws. That wouldn't have bothered me. Oh, she don't like what I like. Man, you a grown man. Set your stupid behind up, boy, and be a man. Stop it. It's okay that you have different interests, man. Listen, all my friends we ain't got the same interests, man. I ain't into what some of that stuff them niggas into. That mean he ain't my homeboy? Like, nah, I just don't think like that. Maybe I'm different. Because definitely me and all my, listen, man, fat boy don't like football like that. Never has. That nigga don't like that junk like that. That nigga don't like basketball. None of that stuff, man. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, but he ain't my homeboy because, oh, man, this nigga don't like football. Come on, get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I never understood when men would say a girl who liked video games and anime alone is wife material. She's only a lifer. She like what you want. That's how people have been socialized. You know what I'm saying? Because they think, well, shoot, she wifey, man. She like what I like. That's cool if you got somebody that you could be with that enjoys your same interest. But I wouldn't look at no woman and be like, oh, that's wifey, bro. She like Japanese cartoons and video games. That woman could be contentious, disrespectful, uncaring, but she'll play Legend of Zelda with you. You sound like a goddamn fool. You know what I'm saying? You are a grown man amped up on the fact that a woman want to play video games with you, bro. You're not even looking at her character. You're not even looking at how she conducts herself. You don't even know what values she holds. But she'll watch Naruto with you. Nigga ought to kick you dead in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Because that sounds dumb. Oh, you think you got a great man because he gonna sit here and watch The Notebook with you. Meanwhile, this nigga go upside your head. And he got 3-4 side holes. But he watched The Notebook with you. He gonna watch 50 Shades of Grey with you. Man, you immature as hell. That's immaturity, man. And we don't be realizing that. That's an immature mind. Because your bonds shouldn't be made off of shared interests, man. Everybody don't like the same thing, man. I never had it in my mind at any point in my life that friends and or my woman had to like what I like. I remember me and young age, so when we was reading them Dr. York books, and I used to talk to this chick, and she wanted to act like she wanted to read that junk too. I said, man, get the hell on, man. You don't want to read this here. You don't want to talk about this here. I don't need you faking like you interested in this, because you're not, and that's cool. I don't need you to be. And it's not impressive to me if you trying to pretend to be. You don't care about that. That's okay, man. I ain't got to talk with you about this. I can talk to them about it. That's the same token of I wasn't finna get with no woman who not in the word and try to put, baby, that's not what you own. That's not what you own. That's cool. Because I don't want you to be faking like that's what you own. Nah, I'm cool with that. Nah. Well, my old lady was already on that. So we ain't gonna deal with all that. That means, hey, if she want to talk about the word, I know it's genuine. I know if I go to talking about it, she actually want to hear it. Not, oh, well, that's what he likes, so I'm gonna like it too. That's how you end up with a wicked woman getting drove crazy. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, you niggas gotta grow up. You know what I'm talking about? That don't make no sense. Yeah, but see, and we is here in the common interest as far as the word is concerned. But that's different because that's salvation. You know what I'm saying? That common, I would even say that's a common interest. We here because we're all interconnected because we are members of the body of Yahushua, which is totally different. You family. You know what I'm saying? Each and every person on this screen, on this clubhouse, in this house, we interconnected because we're members of one body, meaning we family. So that's not a common interest. That's a familial bond. Sons and daughters of Elohim. A little different. But in that familiar bond, all of us don't have the same natural interest. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think. Will and Dwight and Darius, them and Dante, they talk about the NBA all the time. I watch the NBA. I'm not going to sit around and talk about that junk. I don't give a damn about that junk like that. Like, I'll watch it. My desire for the NBA is not the same as it was in 1996, 7, and 8. Professional football, tad bit different. You know what I'm saying? But I also don't have the same mutual interest in college football as I used to have. NFL didn't change, though. No. I know you wasn't. I was just laying that out there. I just was putting that out there for everybody else. I know what you meant. You know what I'm saying? No, you're good. I know exactly what you meant. I just wanted everybody to know that, to have the perspective of seeing it, that this ain't no common interest. We family. We're interconnected through the love and sacrifice of the only begotten Son of the living Elohim, Yahushua HaMashiach. That's why I said that. Because I want to make sure that that's always embedded in our mind, that you family. Irregardless of where you live, who you fellowship with. If you've been immersed and professed that Yahushua is the Son of Elohim, as the scripture have said, you interconnected one to another because you joined to him, therefore you join to each other. And we have to make sure that we maintain that mentality. That no, that's your people, man. That's your brother, that's your sister, that's your mother, that's your auntie, that's your uncle, whatever the case may be, them your peoples, man. Once we start crafting that particular mentality of seeing people who in the word, that know that's your people, blood, that maybe the love of Elohim can flow to and fro through us like he intended. You know what I mean? But let me get to this verse, man. Let me get straight to it. 24:10, man. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Amen, sister. So I mentioned that because, of course, you know, Yahushua in the day of his adversity. Abba, if it be possible, let this cup pass. Abba, if it's possible, let this cup pass. But not my will be done, but your will be done. And he's son of Malachim to strengthen him. Now, when we look at what does it mean to faint in distress, you know, we looked at this verse plenty of times before. But I just want you to hear this word faint, which is Rapha. Pay, and hey, you know, that's to relax, to sink down, to be disheartened. And of course, we want to focus on the aspect of the definition of disheartened. If you become disheartened in distress, what does it mean to be disheartened by definition? When you look at being disheartened, it's to cause a person to lose hope, courage, or enthusiasm. So when your tikvah begins to dissipate, or your courage or your strength begins to dissipate, he's letting you know your faith is small, or your strength is small. Let's see what word for strength is used in this particular passage, which is co-op, you know, strength, power, might. A little different than the one in Isaiah 26. Indeed, to be frustrated, to be turned away. So, of course, you know, it's a refuge. It's almost midnight. It's a refuge. So you begin to lose hope that Yahuwah is the place of protection and safety that you believe him to be. But we'll start going through examples with David, from Moses, Yahusha, and a couple of instances. We could look at Paul, Jeremiah, some of the kings, to show you Daniel, to show you how his strength was made perfect in weakness. You know what I'm saying? Because his love is enough. Because I just looked up, I see it's 11:40. We got to get off here. So hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. I appreciate y'all, and I bless your house out the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Remember, y'all willing, man, doors open at 11:30. Be advised. Be advised. Be advised. Biggie Ranker's funeral is tomorrow. The Av is going to be lit. You understand what I'm telling you? They're going to be out there. Amen, Brother Marcus. Love you too. They're going to be out there, man. Yahuwah Baruch. Thank you, Yahuwah. They're going to be out there, man. You best believe his last ride through Florida Ave is going down tomorrow. And as we were talking about last week, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that building is the original location of Cool Runnings, man. So people might be over there. So I would advise you to be on time. You know what I'm saying? Amen. Bless it, man. Love you too, man. Amen. Shalom, Sister Regina. And I ain't just saying that to be saying that, because I told y'all that last week, man, when I seen when his funeral was going to be. They going to be around now. Now, what time they get around now, I don't know. But they going to be out on the Ave. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen a post the other day where they posted that, Union and Florida Ave. And I was like, man, that looked like the building. And I think it was. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where their original spot was at. Was on Union and Florida Ave. So I think of that building. And Stanley done said before that building used to be a club. So I believe that's the original Cool Running spot, man. So just know they're going to be out on the Ave, man. That's out east. They're going to be outside. So you want to make sure you get there so you necessarily, because they might park in the parking lot of the building, man. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to anticipate nobody being there unless y'all already there. Now, you can listen to me now, and you can believe me later on in the future, like Goody Mom said. But I'm just letting you know. You know what I'm saying? So if that do occur, don't come in the door crying about you ain't had nowhere to park when you was already told what it was going to be for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a given. I know the city going to be out, and I know out east going to be out. Because I know the funeral, and the service in Paxson. I don't know where they going to bury him at. But I know they're going to ride him down Florida Ave and probably up Union Street and all that there. You know what I'm talking about? Probably ride him through all out east, to be honest with you. So, just be prepared. But yeah, man, y'all with it, man. Civic, man, be safe on that highway, boy. That's a long ride, boy. You know what I'm saying? But again, I appreciate y'all. Bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of y'all. I love y'all, man. Oh yeah. I don't know where he was. I don't know if he originally from here, but shoot, this is where he been at. We grew up listening to him. Yeah, we grew up on that. At least I did anyway. He the reason why niggas listen to reggae music in Jacksonville now. I don't know about the young generation. Let me take that back. I don't know about the young. You a brew, man. I don't know about the younger generation, but people my age, oh yeah, absolutely. So. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? From what it looked like, man, it looked like he passed away from kidney failure. So I just be another aspect, man. Just take care of yourself, man. Because that boy, them kidneys, boy, that's something that hit different. Again, though, I appreciate y'all. Bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of y'all. Y'all willing, man. We catch up with y'all on tomorrow, man. Make it do what it do.